We will call the meeting to order for the Board of County Commissioners for Douglas County, Nebraska for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Please note that a copy of the Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of the Legislative Chamber alongside an automatic external defibrillator. Please stand for the pledge. We will start with our Douglas County Board of Equalization. When the clerk is ready, we'll take roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Borgeson is absent. Commissioner Kavanaugh, Commissioner Fahey, Commissioner Friend, Commissioner Morgan, Commissioner Rogers, Mr. Chair.
Here. First item of business are items A and B. A being the approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. And B being a call for a meeting and set Tuesday, March 10th, 2026 as date for hearing on certified assessment corrections reflecting the addition of omitted property to the tax rolls or increased value on property. Do I have a motion and a second for both? Motion by Morgan, second by Rogers. Please vote.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Next, we have our resolutions, items C and D, which we can take in block plus adjournment if desired. Second. Motion to approve C and D plus adjournment by Rogers, second by Morgan. Is there any discussion by board or public on resolution C or D? If not, we'll vote.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. That concludes equalization. We will now go into the Board of Commissioners agenda. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Borgeson is absent. Commissioner Kavanaugh, Commissioner Fahey, Commissioner Friend, Commissioner Morgan, Commissioner Rogers, Mr. Chair.
Here. First, we have items 1A and B, A being the approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held Tuesday, February 10th, 2026, and B being approval of claims submitted for payment process through Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Do I have a motion and second for both? So moved. Motion by Morgan, second by Rogers. Please vote.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Next, we have our consent agenda, which we can take items A through P minus J and 05 as requested by legal and admin team. Those are not ready this week. Otherwise, the remainder of the consent agenda can be moved and seconded for discussion. Motion by Morgan, second by Friend. We'll go to Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Yes, just for the record, on item D, which is the reallocation of 25-26 Visitor Improvement Fund Grant Award for the Omaha Sports Commission, we received some correspondence on this, but I just wanted to have Ms. Hall maybe give us the reason for this.
Okay.
Catherine Hall, County Administration. Omaha Sports Commission received.
Could you speak up a little bit, please?
Omaha Sports Commission received a 25-26 Visitor Improvement Fund grant from this board. one of the events they had received funding for has changed dates and fallen out of the award period, so they've requested to reallocate that portion of funds towards some other events outlined in the attachment. And that's the item scheduled here. And Lindsay from Omaha Sports Commission is also here in attendance if the board has any additional questions.
And this happens from time to time. We want to be flexible on this. The Omaha Sports Commission does great work. I just want to let people know what's going on. I have one other question regarding item L. And I see Sherry Larson from the courts is here. This is to improve the implementation of a pay plan for the Douglas County employees of the 4th Judicial District Court. Thanks for coming down. Mm-hmm. Could you give us a quick recap of what this does?
Sherry Larson, District Court Administrator. This is an implementation for a pay plan for 46 employees in the District Court offices, 45 full-time, 1 part-time. The District Court is made up of state employees and Douglas County employees. This only applies to the Douglas County employees. And it puts us on a step plan similar to all the other county employees, minus juvenile court and the public defender's office. I believe those are the only offices that do not have a step plan. This plan has been worked on in conjunction with HR over the last 2.5 years. I believe the board had implemented the county attorney's plan in 2022, and that's when we started those discussions. So part of that process was to write job descriptions for all of our employees, have HR review those and the employees as well, and then HR helped develop that step plan based on comparable positions within the county and within other offices, agencies similar to ours. Excuse me.
Great. And thanks for this information. You folks do a great job. We appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
I think that's it for now. Thank
Thank
you. Other questions or comments on the consent agenda? Go ahead.
Good morning, Chad Brown, juvenile court judge. I also serve as the presiding judge at this current time. What I would ask is for item L, that approval and implementation of the pay plan for Douglas County employees as it relates specifically to the Douglas County District Court judges. I would ask that you give us 2 weeks for the juvenile court judges to discuss. We have 12 employees just for the judges, plus Ray's office, the district or the juvenile court administrator has employees. We have a judge meeting today at noon. If you give us a 2-week tabling of this, we'll discuss, see if it makes sense to have our employees join and consider those financial considerations for the county. That would be the juvenile court's position as to consent item L. Any other questions?
Thank you, Judge Brown, for being here. For Sherry, maybe, was there coordination or what are your thoughts?
Juvenile court is not part of my office, so this plan was specifically designed for district court only. Mm-hmm. The job descriptions are different. The job duties are different. So this was done in conjunction with my bench that I work for.
Okay. Let me go to Commissioner Rogers real quick.
So, Judge, my interpretation of what you're asking for is, I think this is similar to what we do with the county attorney's office. If the county attorney's office is at a certain level, we put the public defender's office at a certain level. And what you're am I interpreting you to say you don't want the juvenile staff to be underpaid or on par with where they are?
So historically, we have always been hand in hand with the district court bailiffs. Juvenile court bailiffs, juvenile court staff has been hand in hand with the district court bailiffs. And I agree, there has been some discussion with step plan. We didn't know about this. We saw it on the Monday morning when the agenda was posted. We've had some meetings with the juvenile court, and we're saying one of the unintended consequences that will result if you approve this, they have to find the step in the grade to pay their district court employees, their bailiffs. That will result in a raise for those employees and not the juvenile court bailiffs and admin assistants. So historically, we've been hand in hand. So we're just asking for a 2-week pause, let the juvenile court judges, along with Mr. Curtis, discuss it internally. Does this make sense for our staff to join? Can we do it quickly because the template has already been outlined by the district court, their hard work for the last 2.5 years. Can we simply just join in the next 2 weeks? Let us make that decision.
And that's what I don't know if you can join. The question is, I just want to get an understanding of what you're saying. What I am hearing you saying is that this agreement is similar to what we do with the county attorney's office, and the public defenders. The goal is always to keep them on par, so there's not a disadvantage. You just want to be on par. And the question is, I guess more so to the board, will we continue to honor keeping both places on par? I don't know if there's an option to join, and I don't know if that may be the route, but I think that I'm just asking you, am I interpreting what you're saying right? You just want to stay on par.
I think that's fair, and under the statutory schemes, 25, I think it's cited in the beginning of it, 25, or 24-350 says by the judge and with the consent of the county board, that's how we set those salaries. Rather than create an unintended consequence of giving raises to the district court bailiffs, can we just push pause for 2 weeks and let us digest it?
Yeah, I don't know what digestion would do.
Quick point of clarification. These raises would be, Sherry, if your plan goes through today, this will be implemented immediately or upon the new fiscal year, July 1st. Can you remind us?
No, it would be implemented immediately after the last pay period.
And would that
And it-
result in a supplement being needed?
No, this is in my budget.
It's in your
Do
budget.
not need a supplement to implement this plan. And just for clarification, the Public Defender's Office is not on a step plan.
Okay.
I just want to make that clear. The county attorney implemented one, but the public defender does not have a pay plan, step plan.
And then point of clarification with Judge, what you are proposing, that would also be effective upon passage or shortly after, and would that require a budget supplement in your budget?
I don't know, Commissioner. Again, we opened up the agenda item yesterday, saw this, we've started running the calculations, learned that it would cause an increase, a raise, an unintended consequence would cause a raise, and that was where we started saying, hey, we need to be in front of the county board this morning at 9 a.m. We have a judge meeting today at noon. With Mr. Curtis, we could start to look through. We have 12 employees in the courts, and Mr. Curtis's office, 3 to 4 employees there. So we're talking about very quick turnaround. That's why I'm asking for the 2 weeks to really look at this.
And remind me, your employees, state, county, mixed?
Yeah, so in the juvenile court, we have the court reporter and the judge is a state employee, the admin assistant and the bailiff are court employees.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Kavanaugh, Friend, and Rogers.
Judge, you're with the separate court. Is that correct? That's the technical legal name.
Correct. Sorry, Commissioner.
So you're a separate court from what we're talking about with this step plan.
Yes, sir, but.
So it'd be like a separate department if we were talking about, county attorney step plan versus public defender step plan. They're both lawyers. They both work for the county. They're separate offices. Are you asking that we lay the whole thing over for this court so that your court can entertain this question?
I am, and I will also tell you, I had a late conversation with Judge Sherb last night, the presiding judge, indicating I would be here asking for this, just saying this is not friction. This is just, can we all get on the same page? Because historically, we have been on the same page. And so out of courtesy, I notified Judge Sherb that I would be here doing that. And again, this is not to cause friction. It is, we have historically been hand in hand with our employees.
No, I appreciate that, but what I'm trying to get at is this has been in the works for some time. Is that right?
Correct.
Ms. Coulson? I mean,
Yes.
did you indicate you'd been working with HR for some period of time?
Almost 2 years.
I'm sorry?
Almost 2 years.
Okay. So, I mean, this is something that's been going along, and here we are at the 11th hour. I would just opine that maybe the separate juvenile court would like to do what the court has done here in terms of the process of determining whether you want to go to a step plan, rather than holding the whole thing up that they've spent years on, and here we are at the final approval for a separate court. If it was the same court, I totally understand, but it's not.
Well, I guess with all due respect, why we were not notified, why there was not conversations with us so that we could join in, I don't know. When we find out about it, Commissioner, by looking at the agenda and seeing it set for a consent agenda item, that's kind of a concern. So I
I
understand.
appreciate that. I mean, believe me, as a lawyer, I've spent a lot of time practicing in offices in the courthouse. It would seem to me if something was going on for a couple years, that judges talk to judges, bailiffs talk to bailiffs, everybody talks to everybody. I don't know how this, missed the attention of you at the separate juvenile court, but it seems to me that if, again, the county attorney's office was entertaining something like this for a couple of years, it might become pretty common knowledge if anybody in the courthouse was paying attention that this was going on. You deal with HR, correct?
I do.
Yeah. I mean, they were implementing this. I'm just saying, I don't have any problem with what you're ultimately going for. It's holding up the whole train at the 11th hour to do something for a separate department.
But it's on a consent agenda. Where was it for full discussion? Why wasn't the juvenile court included when we've historically
Okay,
been there?
let me ask, Ms. Larson, is there some reason for what the judge is saying that the juvenile court was not?
The juvenile court is not the department I work for. I work for the district court bench, and I included them in my discussions. We don't have joint district court and juvenile court meetings. And quite frankly, I wasn't aware of the meeting they're having tomorrow until Ray Curtis called me yesterday and told me they were having a meeting today. The statute that the judge is talking about talks directly about district court. It doesn't mention juvenile court.
I appreciate that. That's kind of what I was thinking here. No problem with you folks entertaining this. My problem is at the end of the process that these folks went through, we want to stop the whole thing so that the separate juvenile court can entertain this. I don't know that I'd be comfortable with that. I wouldn't have a problem with you looking at this for your court at all.
Thank you.
Let me go to Commissioner Friend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This would not be on, I know this, or at least it's an educated guess. This would not be on consent if this wasn't budgeted. That's numero uno. Number two, and Judge, I do appreciate what you're doing here. What I'm wondering is when things like this happen, and this is just maybe a little bit of my ignorance, if we slowed something like this down, or if we stopped it for 2 weeks, or we delayed it, that would be a leverage tool. And I don't know that you need leverage. I think that you could. I mean, you've talked to Roger and I. You've talked to every commissioner. I mean, I don't know a leverage tool is necessary. I think the communication is necessary. Delaying this, if I were on your side and I wanted to delay it, I'd use it as a leveraging tool. I'm not sure that that's in existence. It's not with us. We appreciate that there's going to be a dichotomy with these bailiffs, and we're probably going to have to address that. So it wasn't a statement. I guess my question is, delaying this will achieve what?
Uniformity,
Judge,
so that we don't have a pay scale difference.
Good point. But again, that goes to leverage. How do we suddenly change our mind if this gets delayed, other than angering one of the district goes, well, wait a minute, these people don't know what they're doing. What I'm getting at is we want to help you. I think you've heard that. Does the delay help? Because if I were on your side, I'd go, hold this, sit down with us before you do anything else. My guess is I don't think that's the way we're going to operate. We want to work with you guys and do it in a manner that is as productive as possible. And I don't think the leverage thing exists, right? I mean, sure. I don't know. I guess my contention is we know now that it's an issue. I'm not sure that I'm in a position where I'd say, let's stop this and then let's go ahead and, make sure that we, make this an amalgamation or a macro discussion. And by the way, final point, what do we have, 13 bargaining units? And I'm not sure this would open up a can of worms, but every time somebody comes up to the mic and says, we're underpaid, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I know. Let's deal with these incrementally and individually. So anyway, I'm brainstorming. I appreciate your thoughts, and I didn't even know. Now I do. So we'll deal with it, I think.
Thank you. We'll go to Commissioner Rogers, then Fahey.
Mr. Chair. No, I just want to clear up. I mean, Sherry, the discussion for me is not about, the comparison is, really this thing comes down to an equal pay thing. So that's what I'm saying. It's not about the county attorney being on the step, public defender not, because I think the offices themselves, the office holders themselves have a different salary. The people working in them have the same. And in essence, this is the same thing to me. Judge, I don't think we can stop the train today, but I do think the discussion is fair, that people understand the equity of the office. I don't think you can stop the train today, but I understand the fact that if something was proposed to keep everybody fair, as if you're telling me the tradition is to keep them on par, and that is, then I'm open to it, and it has to be worked out. But I don't know if the train can be stopped today on that.
Can I just?
I'm done.
You can finish. Judge
My
Brown.
only concern is I can't join our colleagues because I don't necessarily have the consent of all 6 judges agreeing with this language, the consent given to the district court administrator to dole out salaries. Like, I don't have that consent, my 6
To
judges.
do what? 2 salaries? I'm sorry.
If you read this, it's the district court administrator may, in his or her discretion, place any employee on any step higher than the closest grade step. That's not a district court judge. That's not in compliance with the statute. I don't have that consent from my 6 to join you. I'd love to sit here and say I want all my employees to be the same so there's no discrepancy. I can't even offer that today because we haven't even had a chance to digest this. I get what you're saying. It's a fairness. It's 100% a fairness thing. I want it to be fair, and I get the leverage. If we're on notice and we're all at the same, we all have the same notice of historically this is how it's been done. I will be here the next meeting I can, and I'll do what I can do to help our employees to compensate for that difference that it's going to cause. So, thank you.
Thanks, Judge. Commissioner Fahey, you good? Okay. Real quick, you're mentioning was it the step plan or that you just mentioned, Judge? Go ahead and count this as my round. So you're mentioning.
I can't ask to join my employee. If I want to make sure I'm hearing Commissioner Rogers correct. If it's as simple as coming in and asking for our employees to join so that we're not delaying the train, I can't do that. I'm not in a position.
Join what, Judge?
District court, the district court judges.
But your employees don't work for district court, right?
Correct. But if I could motion, if I could join in to create it, I can't. I know I can't.
What does join in mean, Judge?
To join consent agenda item L and have it applied to the juvenile court employees.
Would
I'm not asking for that. Let me make that
I mean, if you come and request some kind of new pay plan scale for your employees, I don't think it would come through her resolution anyway.
Okay.
Is that correct? Admin,
I
yeah.
want to make sure I'm hearing and understanding that correct.
It would be a completely separate plan, resolution, effort, request, especially because hers is budgeted.
Yes.
Sounds like yours wouldn't be, which would require a supplement. And if you're coming in for a supplement, that's a different story. And the appetite for supplements is getting less and less because the budget's getting tighter and tighter, thanks to the legislature and the governor. So, yeah. Commissioner Rogers has a quick comment.
Get your argument of fairness, but what the board's saying is You can't be included on this.
Okay.
What the board's saying is come back with something separate and we will look at it. That may not be, depending on, like the chair says, if it's not budgeted, you may have to talk in the budget process to do it and have it start in July. But I think the board's open to your fairness argument. It just can't ride on this one. It'd have to come back separate.
Gotcha. I'm understanding. Thank you.
You good, Commissioner Fahey? Okay, it's because your light's on, so that throws me off. I think if you press the button, it goes off.
I have nothing to add.
There you go. Okay, anybody from admin or finance or budget have a quick comment on any of this before we go back to the full consent agenda? You don't have to, I'm just giving an opportunity. I think they're good. Okay. With that discussion, we are still on the full consent agenda, which again, items A through P, minus J, and minus 05. Any final comments or questions from board or public?
Commissioner Tracy, our County Attorney's Office. For J and 05, could those be laid over to March 24th?
March 24th specifically
Yes,
for J
the
and
board does not
05?
meet on the 17th, and so the 10th is too early.
Okay. Yeah, if the board's okay with that, we'll accept that.
Thank you so much.
All right. If nothing else, we'll go ahead and vote.
One moment, please. Okay, thank you. Commissioners Fahey, Kavanaugh, and Morgan. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go to new business. Speaking of the legislature, we do have a resolution to officially oppose LB 1219, which is currently being considered in the legislative session. My understanding is that it would place a 2% growth limits on our revenue and expenditures as well, Marcos, and but without CPI or a slice index. So just a hard 2%. Marcos, would you add any context to that?
Sure. Commissioners, Marcus A. Martin, Douglas County Administration. Yes, Commissioners. So LB 1219 is before you, and what this bill would do is that this actually would limit our budget to 2%. You may recall back in summer of 2024, the great summer of 2024, that we received LB 34. LB 34 implemented the slice index. We call it the slice index, but that's a consumption inflation type index on our budget. But that had the index applied plus a number of exceptions for public safety. This bill before you would just go to a flat 2%, no exceptions, no exemptions for public safety. No, it would just be the 2% flat. So that's what's currently before you. It's LB 1219, and it is on general file. The main reason why Sean, excuse me, is that my mic is. Okay. Okay. So the main reason we're bringing it to you right now, Commissioners, is it has been prioritized. It was introduced by Senator Brandt of Fairbury. It was prioritized by Senator Hansen out of Blair.
Got it. Thank you, Marco. So a hard 2% on our budget growth year over year. So when you're thinking about basic cost of living increases and contractual increases that strive to give, 3%, 3.5, whatever the circumstances call for, and we're capped at 2%, that's going to put a bind on us even being able to give a decent cost of living increase. That doesn't take into account, other variables like when there's very high health insurance premiums that go up, or a need to catch up on the market for different positions within our under our employment at the county. Sometimes we fall underneath market rates and we need to do a catch up that might be a 4 or a 5 sometimes, just depending on what the job market looks like for any given position out of all the positions we have at Douglas County. So big picture, very bad idea that's going to really put a strain on our functioning as a county and its operations. So I am asking the board to take a stance to oppose. Let me go to Commissioner Morgan.
Well, 2%, and we know that public safety was the county attorney, the sheriff's office, so on, was in the other proposal. So if you had an increase in our revenues, Marcos, of 5.5% in the valuations, which is what we've seen over the years, and we haven't increased the mill levy, which we don't plan to do, or at least I don't, for sure. Where would the extra money go? Let's say the assessor's office is bringing in that 5.5, and we try to hold the line to 2%, which I think would be a real challenge in today's world. The other money would then go to reduce the mill levy? Is that in that bill?
Right. That's sorry, commissioners. Again, Marcos San Martin County Administration. Yeah, that's what we would have to do now. We would not be able to have that in our budget request.
Is that
Lori?
Would that be an accurate statement that I'm making, Lori?
Yes, that's my understanding. Lori Parrish, Douglas County CFO. Yes, that's my understanding.
And Lori, our finance director, who I greatly respect and appreciate her contribution to us, I'd like to just hear you maybe tell us your thoughts, because about 80% of our budget is payroll. Mm-hmm. And I just feel that with the 18, 19 contracts we have, and I know Mike Friend, as a co-chairman of the budget committee, knows, trying to hold the line at 2%, I think is going to put us in a very difficult position.
Yes, I agree. I think, just because we're a county government doesn't mean we operate in a vacuum. We're still in the greater economy. So I like the approach that the legislature already put in place with the slice index, because that at least we get to vary with what inflation is doing and things like that, which reflects the actual market that we're operating in. I think this 2% it sounds good. It's a nice low cap, but I don't think it's very realistic for us to be able to keep up with market prices for, like you said, payroll and other contracts.
I appreciate that. And yesterday, had a meeting with the sheriff's office. Mike Friend joined me. The area just west of Boys Town property on 144th, he's going to have a lot of patrolling in that area with the planned growth, and it's not part of the city or their responsibility. And we met with some of the people that are doing that developing, and that again is another concern, that we're going to have that on in future need of the sheriff's office. It looks to be the case. So I think I like the idea of it, but I think 2% just isn't a realistic number for the county government, because our source of revenue, we don't have the other options of sales tax and restaurant tax and all of those kinds of things. We have one thing, and that's, our property. I still would like to see a cap that you can't raise property values, a constitutional amendment on residential only, more than 5% a year is what I wish was taking place. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Friend?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. different year, same old discussion, especially when we come pretty close to budget time. I'll try to not repeat myself. When I read this bill, and there is absolutely no surprise that this bill is here for a county board entity to try to oppose what 1219 is doing. When I read this bill, I like in general the idea of property tax relief, but and in practice, when you put a bill, and when a bill comes out of committee, in practice that bill can become a vehicle. So I like the idea of property tax relief. So there's a bill there. Somebody out in the legislative floor, if they have the wisdom to do it, could actually provide real property tax relief. 1219, this bill in its current form does not provide property tax relief. They are spinning their wheels with that bill in its current form. I would argue that the bill doesn't provide property tax relief, and until the legislature and the governor change state law and change the Constitution relating to the manner in which real property is assessed, valued, and then ultimately assessed, until they do that, you are not going to have real property tax relief. I'm not going to tell you what it should look like. I can tell you how can you walk in and tell somebody that their assessed value, and we do it, we have to do it, that their assessed the levy lid didn't change. We're not taxing you more, but the value of your home went up $300,000 in 1 year. And this is what your property tax bill is going to be next year. It is subjective. It is the assessor's office does a good job. They do the best that they can, but state law is broken. When 18% of the revenue being generated by the state is being generated, 18% is being generated by sales tax, 22% is being generated by income, 38% statewide is being generated by property tax. The system is broken. This bill does not fix it. What I like is that there's a vehicle out there. I'll probably abstain. I have no problems making decisions. I can vote yes or no. I like the idea of a vehicle out there that somebody could utilize to actually change state law in a positive manner. But the bill in its current existence does not do that. By the way, final point. In the meantime, the legislature, and I know they do the best that they can, but they're essentially telling us 2% slice. You do not go any further than this. In the meantime, state law dictates that we deal with 80% of this stuff. We got to pay the sheriffs. We got to pay for corrections. We've got to pay for a county attorney. We've got to pay for a public defender. We've got to pay for all kinds of, 80% of it's mandated. Everybody says, well, you keep blaming the legislature. I'm not blaming the legislature. I'm telling you that I know what we have to pay. And then the state turns around and says, you have to pay it, but you can only do it in this manner. Look, until somebody's got the intestinal fortitude to actually recodify all three of those pieces, sales, income, and property, we're going to be here doing this every year. And we're going to do it more this year. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And just to clarify, it'd be 2% no slice. Because you said 2% slice. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that. Yeah. So it'd be a very hard cap at 2% with no inflation index of any kind. Commissioner Kavanaugh?
Yes, I don't see the Hansen amendment in the backup information. Is that different than the green copy of the bill considerably?
I'm sorry, Commissioner. Senator Hansen prioritized this bill. Prioritized Senator Brandt's bill.
So Brandt has a bill. Hansen has an amendment to that bill, which is priority designation.
Hansen has prioritized Senator Brandt's bill. He's also filed a floor amendment which says strike section 1. Maybe that's a placeholder, but so I guess I think that answers your question. Is Senator Hansen prioritized Senator Brandt's bill? This is Senator Brandt's bill, but
Yeah, we
Senator
have the
Hansen
bill here. We don't have
prioritized
the
it.
amendment here. What does the amendment do?
Strike section 1. That's all the amendment says. So it's a placeholder.
Okay, so this bill says
But the
2% plus an allowable growth percentage of the political subdivision's real growth percentage, which was, and maybe somebody can say, what was that last year?
So the real growth, I think ours was 1.9, something like that.
So, Commissioner, I believe it was 1.9 was last year's real growth percentage.
1.9%?
1.9 was our real growth. And it depends, it wholly depends on the county and how much development has happened in the county. There are many factors to that.
Right. My understanding was that our assessed value went up more than 1.9%. Am I missing something here?
Those are two separate. The growth in the assessed value and the valuations of the properties is a wholly different factor than the real growth.
It's different than the
Added
assessed
new,
value.
new
That's
buildings, new homes, all that would be more real growth. The other is just an increase in the value of the existing
Okay.
properties.
So if this had been the law last year, what would our increase have been?
Well, valuations would still have gone up the amount that they went up. So what was that, 6%-ish? It's just that we would not be able to collect that full amount. We would only be able to spend the 2%. I think our total increase in budget year over year was like 3.5, 3.6%.
Which was under the slice, Commissioner, I would say. Oh, through the chair, which was under our slice. The slice limit last year for 25-26, that's the consumption inflation limit index that's in the statute. It was actually pegged at 5.17%, and so we were well under what the slice limit index was.
Yes, the
If that makes
finance
sense.
committee is pretty financially prudent. So even though we had the opportunity to go up to the slice, we opted not to. We still kept it below that.
So it's not on the agenda for today's legislative consideration. Is there some reason that we have this before us today?
What's not on the agenda for consideration?
I'm sorry?
What was the first part of your question, Commissioner Kavanaugh?
I looked at the agenda for the legislature for today. This bill is not on today's legislative agenda. I'm asking, is there some reason that we're considering this bill today?
Yes. I put it on the agenda. It's a 60-day session, which moves very quickly. And so I did not want to give this bill any opportunity to grow legs and grow steam in the ledge, even though it was prioritized, so we'll get a little bit of a catalyst. I want our opposition to be early and senators to know where we stand on it before it grows more legs.
Okay. Has NACO taken a position on this bill?
I'm not sure, have they?
Opposition.
Does anybody know?
Opposition.
You're in
Opposition.
opposition?
Yep.
Okay. Have we consulted our lobbyist on his views on this bill?
He's
Yes,
always
Commissioner.
consulted, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Kelly has confirmed he is
Okay.
good with the opposition.
You know, in the normal course of things, there's actually a list of bills in its chronological order, a list of priority bills in their chronological order that they will be taken up. Do you know where this is? Is it first? Is it last? Is it in the middle?
Commissioner, I don't have that in front of me. I can give you that this afternoon. I will find that
Right.
out.
It's just a matter of time. I mean, if there's, a pressing need to have our position before the bill comes to the floor on general file, I'm informed by that. It doesn't seem that is. It's like you have concern for this bill. I have a concern for this bill. I'd like to look at it a little bit more than this morning and maybe talk to some people. It doesn't sound like it's something that we would like. but I don't know. I mean, if we don't have to act on it right now, it would seem to me that due diligence would be at least look at the bill, maybe talk to our legislative representatives, our lobbyists, the folks at NACO. Have we had conversations with them?
Yes, Commissioner, yes. We have this 1219 and 468, the Inheritance Tax Bill, has been on both NACO and our lobbyist radar for a number of weeks.
And look at, what would have been the practical impact if we had done this in past years. It doesn't sound good. I'm not in favor of these kind of straitjacket lids at all. They don't seem to work any place that they've been put in this session. But if this bill has no chance of coming up, well, that's one thing. And there's a good chance that all priority bills will not be entertained at all. They will not make it to the floor at all. So, kind of those considerations are important procedural considerations when we're taking positions on bills. And I don't know that we know what the prospect of this bill seeing the light of day are. I'd like to find out before I voted on it. So if we could lay it over even 1 week, I don't think we'd be doing a wrong thing.
Okay. Others? Commissioner Morgan?
Commissioner Friend was exactly right when he said it doesn't really affect property taxes. That's where the cap needs to be. Roger Garcia sent me an email last year, and he can correct me because he's right next to me and maybe can slap me for saying it. But I know he was contacted by a citizen in his district that morning about a year ago, and it was on 15th and Pierce Street, just across from Leavenworth to the south. The guy bought the house for somewhere around $200,000 3-4 years ago. He had an increase of 100% on his home, up to about $390-some thousand. I wouldn't have purchased a home, respectfully, at even $300,000. And that's where we should see the cap. I think 2% is a real challenge for us to run county government. I mean, I'm in favor, if they want to put a cap of some kind of number on, but if you start to see how we've lost people in the county attorney's office, the sheriff's office, and other offices, even with the increases they've received in recent years, it's kind of alarming. And the sheriff has talked to us about that at the microphone on his budget and what's happened, the county attorney, the public defender, and so on. And if you go to that 2%, it's not going to happen. And I go back to the first thing I said. This doesn't really do anything to help the people on their property taxes. And why we don't have what Michigan, Arizona, Florida, Tennessee, and other states on that cap, that you can't raise it more than 5%. Now, if you buy my house for $600,000 and it's assessed at $525 or $475, it immediately goes to $600. But from then on, you only have a 5%. Some states have it at 3%. Mike Boyle and I tried to get that bill, and we had it introduced by McDonnell at 5%, a constitutional amendment. That's where the legislature, in my opinion, should be looking at things, because those 100% increases are 30%, and I know some lady that had to move out of her house in the Benson area because of the 35-40% increase in her taxes. So I think 2% is an unreasonable cap with us not having other sources. Mm-hmm. And so I reluctantly would be supportive of that because of this, what this bill would do on that, and not supportive of seeing it pass. Mm-hmm. Because I think it needs to be something more than 2%.
Thank you. We go to Commissioner Friend, then Marcos has a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So real quick, delaying this doesn't matter. I mean, Marcos doesn't know the Speaker of the Legislature can put this on the agenda 2 days from now. We have no idea. You usually know a day ahead of time what the priority bills that show up. There's usually a day. You could talk to but Marcos would have no idea. Marcos could look all afternoon and he has no idea whether this is going to show up 2 days from now or next week. So no offense, Marcos, but the Speaker is sitting on all that stuff. It's a prioritized bill. It could show up in 3 days. So delaying it, I don't know. I mean, if we don't like the idea of 12, look, again, I'm going to abstain because I like the idea of property tax relief. There aren't many vehicles left. There aren't many vehicles on the legislative floor left. This is one of the vehicles. So if somebody out there in the legislative floor, if somebody from the Revenue Committee, somebody says, you know what, we're going to change this. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do 2% plus growth, not slice, 2% plus growth. We're not going to do this. We're going to gut this thing and we're going to throw in caps. They could do it. That's what I'd try to do. Probably wouldn't succeed. But the bottom line is it's a vehicle. So to me, we don't have to make a decision. We don't have to make a decision as a board to say, you guys oppose this or support it. Roger the chair put it on here because it is an issue. And it's an issue that could show up in 2 days, it could show up in 5 days, depends on what the Speaker wants to do. So I think it's a vehicle. I think that they have an opportunity. I would abstain just because I'm sending a message, and if a state senator called me, I'd say, I like what you're doing, but you need to gut this thing. Wipe it clean and start throwing some new language in there, and they can do it fast. I think it's an opportunity, but I don't like the way the way the bill sits currently. I would laugh at them. I would try to gut it. I would amend it about 9 different times, and then I'd go, you guys are spinning your wheels. None of this works. So I understand why the chair put it on here. I don't think delaying it does a whole lot of good. It's a 60-day session. Let's make a decision and move forward.
Thank you. Let me go to Commissioner Fahey.
Thank you. Yeah, I would respectfully be fine voting on this today. I'm opposed to the bill. I think the board should be opposed to the bill. I generally and have thought in my relatively short time in public service has borne this out that easy answers to difficult problems make bad law, and I think that's what this is.
Thank you. Commissioner Kavanaugh, did you have your light on?
Yeah, I informed by my colleagues' discussion on this, I generally don't like caps, as Commissioner Morgan pointed out. They're not a good way to make these decisions. I guess I don't understand, if we're going to move forward, how you abstain. If you're going to move forward, you vote for it. You vote for what we're talking about.
It's because you didn't listen to me.
I did listen to you. I
Well,
tried to
you didn't
follow you.
understand.
It was very difficult
Then you didn't
because you came to the conclusion of, I'm supporting it, I'm not, and I'm abstaining. And so I'm trying to, this is my time. You can serve pressure your button. I'm just trying to say, I'm going to probably take a position on this that is not all 3 positions. But I think in the future, maybe we could have a little more of a discussion before it comes to the agenda. Otherwise, this is 1219. I don't know how many other bills are out there that we don't like, probably a lot. And if we're just going to start throwing them up on the agenda, we're going to waste a lot of time on discussions that may resolve around, I like it, I don't like it, I'm going to abstain, all things to all people. But the idea here, I think I understand from the discussion that Commissioner Garcia and Commissioner Morgan have taken, and procedurally, whether this will ever see the light of day is kind of a crapshoot. I think our lobbyist might have a good idea on that. He's there every day, and that's how you find out what's going to be on the agenda tomorrow or this week or whatever, and he's very good at that. But as it stands, in the green copy that we have in front of you, it does not seem to work with the numbers that our finance people give us. It doesn't work for us financially. And I think everybody's in favor of property tax relief, but it's got to be kind of practical, and this doesn't seem to do that. This is just like a haircut across one size fits all, and that's not going to work for us. So I am going to take a position in support of opposing this, and maybe they come back with something different when we take another position. I would just say the procedure that we do on these bills could use a little more deliberation and information. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Friend, a 2-minute third round.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So here's my point. I can vote any way I want. Nobody dictates to me how I vote. Abstention is a tool. I explained why abstention is a tool for me. There is a vehicle out on the legislative floor. It's 1219. I'm willing to say 1219 is alive. I'm not ready to oppose it. I'm also not ready to support it in its current existence. And anybody that has lived through legislative type of trials and travails understands that it's the only vehicle out there statutorily that could be amended or changed or monkeyed with. I do not want my name on a vehicle that they use for property tax relief that says, no, I don't want property tax relief. I want to see what these guys do. And abstention is an actual tool. If anybody would have listened to what I actually said, it is a tool. Doesn't mean that it's a good tool or that I'm proud of it, but it's a tool that we can use. It's one vote that we can make. I don't need to be lectured by anybody as to how to make a vote and when I should make a vote. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And I just want to mention, I understand the vehicle part because bills can be amended and made relatively different as long as they stay within the same topic area. But the problem with this bill is that it's not a vehicle for, in its current state, it's not a vehicle for property tax relief. The special session, LB 34, the 0% cap did not bring property tax relief. People's property taxes stayed at the same rate. It just hampered our growth moving forward. But everybody's property taxes are still the same rate. They didn't go down. So they did not solve property taxes, nor did they bring property taxes down. The upfronting of the tax credit that already existed was a tax credit that already existed. There was no win there either during the special session. So this bill, putting a 2% cap, I feel like we need to stand up for local cities and counties. We need to stand up for our employees. We need to stand up for our unions, because 2% growth is not realistic. When we need to give cost of living increases and market rate increases and need to function operationally to run the jail, run the sheriff's office, and other 22 departments total, this is not realistic. This is not property tax relief either. If this were to pass, nobody's property taxes would go down. They would stay the same and just 2% cap us moving forward. Property taxes would stay the same though. So this is not property tax relief, and it continues to hurt local government if it were to pass. So considering that it has been prioritized in the legislature, and considering that the governor continues to push for these kind of bills, is why I placed it on the agenda for our consideration today. And in defense of local government, in defense of our unions and employees, I put it on the agenda today. Commissioner Kavanaugh?
Thanks. Good points. I would just say that the thing I agree is not property tax relief. It's the most effective property tax relief I've found that we can do as Douglas County Commissioners is lower our mill levy. I've voted for it consistently for the 12 years I've been here. Not all of you have, but we have on occasion gotten together and lowered the mill levy, which lowers people's property tax bill. That's property tax relief. You want to do that as a county commissioner? Fine. You want to do something else as a state senator? Go to the legislature and be a state senator. That's not something that we can control. This bill is not something that we can control. But although I don't know that anybody's asking for our opinion, if we wanted to give our opinion, and it appears that we do, this is not something good. It's not property tax relief. And so we should oppose it. There was a guy, I think his name was Ted Turner, who was a very interesting fellow, still around, I believe, who used to say, lead, follow, or get out of the way. So, vote yes, vote no, or get out of the way. You're going to take a position on this. You're going to take a position on our mill levy. And so I don't think I've ever taken any position but to lower our mill levy. And, that's not always been successful, but we have done it. We have done it. We've given property tax relief to the citizens of Douglas County in the way that we can practically control. This is not one of those ways, but if we, are going to take a position on it, I think we should take a position on it and not duck the issue.
Thank you. Other comments or questions from board or public? Commissioner Morgan?
I would just say there's been some positive comments here, and what my friend said, this doesn't do anything with property taxes. That's an accurate statement. The second thing is, I think what Commissioner Garcia said is accurate, that this isn't really realistic. When you look at your cost of your own home, what insurance has gone up, it's more than 2%. If you look at your medical insurance, it's way over 2% of what the increases are, and we face those with corrections and all of those kinds of things. So I think the 2% is my reason to not support it. If it was closer to that 3% level or more, a little bit above that, and I'd want to go through with Lori and Patrick, maybe we'd be supportive of that kind of thing. But the 2% just would not work. And we're mandated to provide certain services, and those are of paramount importance to the citizens of Omaha and Douglas County.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Public, Larry?
Larry Storr, 5015 Lafayette Avenue, Omaha, Nebraska, 68132. I enjoyed your discussion, sir. I'm going to clarify my remarks, but I need to explain why it's related to what this topic is. We're in the 250th anniversary year of birthday, so we need to think about that oath that we take. We threw off a king. However, what we hear in these chambers imply to us that we really do have a king. People like yourselves and those people down in Lincoln that are making all of these decisions without really much public input. These chambers were designed by the Founding Fathers to be our primary way to affect our government. People are sovereign, but we're not actually. So we do have a king. I am restricted on a lot of things. We used to have an open public comment period on our agendas. That disappeared, didn't it? And now we're time limited. That's not the way it was designed to be. You guys have spent how much time this morning? Each one of you? As much time as you want. But you want to limit me to 2-3 minutes? I think that's unconstitutional against your oath of office. It's also affecting them to affect us without getting our approval to do so. It's somewhat against your oath of office. Now, I want to give you one example of why we don't have very many citizens here. Because it doesn't make any difference what we say. The primary example of the legal ease to this process would be TIF financing. Now, because of the lack of transparency between city, county, and all the stuff that's going on, the average citizen doesn't know that the school board people say, excuse me, but When you allow a person to buy property at the city does this, at a deflated value because they went in and blighted it just before the guy said, well, without it, it won't get built. The county or the public school systems lose the money. They get only what was on the lower valued, which happened just before the TIF was approved for the next 20, 25 years. Oh, but they're promised they're going to get a big increase in the money they lost 25 years from now. You know, that doesn't work for us. I may have to sell my house and move out of Nebraska. That does not work for the citizen. So yes, there needs to be a limit, but the limit needs to be on the type of things that happen with TIF. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? Otherwise, I will take a motion for approval, or excuse me, to officially take a stance to oppose LB 1219. Motion by Rogers, second by Fahey. Thank you, thank you.
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
We'll take it from Fahey,
Thank you.
and we'll vote.
Motion passes. Commissioner Friend abstaining. All other commissioners voting yes.
Thank you. We will move forward to Section 5, recognitions and proclamations, where we have two. The first one is a recognition of a county employee retirement. We have Joan Finn, who worked for Douglas County Purchasing Department for 12 years. I don't think Joan is here today, but we want to thank her for her service to the citizens of Douglas County. And so I'll take a motion for approval of that one. Motion by Morgan, second by Fahey. Let's vote on A.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. And for our next resolution, I will toss it to Commissioner Kavanaugh and Commissioner Fahey.
No, I defer to my colleague, Commissioner Fahey on this.
Commissioner Kavanaugh is letting me test out my reading skills today and giving me the privilege of reading this resolution into the record, and I'm grateful. Board of Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, be it resolved, whereas Irish American Heritage Month has been celebrated by presidential proclamation since 1991, and whereas Irish American Heritage Month culminates with St. Patrick's Day on March 17th, celebrating St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, and the many significant contributions made by the Irish to our community, our state, our nation, and our world. And whereas the Government of Ireland has joined Douglas County in supporting the annual celebration of Irish heritage and culture in our community, and whereas the 2026 celebration will kick off with the Irish Music Fest on Friday, February 27th at 6 p.m. at the B Bar, 4330 Leavenworth Street, Omaha, Nebraska, featuring Derek Warfield and the Young Wolf Tones. And whereas on Sunday, March 1st, the Ladies' Ancient Order of Hibernians will celebrate Irish culture by hosting a hoolie at the German American Society, 3717 South 120th Street, Omaha, Nebraska, from noon to 6 p.m., featuring food and entertainment for the whole family. And whereas the Omaha Irish Cultural Center will host the 3rd Annual Irish Film Festival on Friday, March 6th at 7 p.m., Saturday, March 7th at 7 p.m., and Sunday, March 8th at 2 p.m. at the Benson Theater, 6054 Maple Street, Omaha, Nebraska. And whereas on Saturday, March 14th, the Ancient Order of Hibernians Father Flanagan Division will host Omaha's 154th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade, the oldest and largest ethnic parade in Omaha. And whereas on Saturday, March 14th, the Omaha Irish Cultural Center will host the 11th annual St. Patrick's Day Awards brunch at the Field Club of Omaha at 12 p.m., honoring Irish American professionals Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, former Lieutenant Governor for Maryland, with the Kathleen and Jack Kavanaugh Outstanding Public Service Award, the Most Reverend Michael G. McGovern, Archbishop of Omaha, with the Father Flanagan and Mother Macaulay Lifetime Achievement Award, and Ed and Joni Fogarty, attorney, author, and historian, with the John and Ed Creighton Excellence Award. And whereas the Irish have immigrated in large numbers to Douglas County since its establishment in 1854, and whereas the Irish and Irish Americans have had a huge positive impact on the development of Douglas County, Nebraska, and the United States of America. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this good Board of County Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, that this board hereby proclaims March 2026 as Irish American Heritage Month in Douglas County, dated this third day of March 2026.
All right.
I second that.
All right, so motion by Fahey to approve the resolution, second by Kavanaugh. Any additional comments? Mr. Clerk.
All right. Oh, I should know better to touch these mics. Dan Esch, I'm speaking as a member of the Ancient Order of Hibernians, as well as the Omaha Irish Cultural Center. The resolution did a great job of basically laying out every event that we have, so that was awesome. I want to thank, I got a newsletter. I'm on the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance's newsletter email list, and they'd actually listed several of the events between the Hibernians and the Omaha Irish Cultural Center, so we appreciate that, the support. Just regarding the film festival, so this is third year OICC has done it, and it's a pretty good lineup this year. They got 3 of the 4 films have won awards at other film festivals, and frankly, he's not a board member, but he's helping the group. Bob Mundy's his name. I'm not sure how he was able to get them to be in our film festival, but Commissioner Kavanaugh may have had a role in that as well. So pretty grateful for the films we were able to get featured in the film festival. And then the other one, I couldn't find if there were awards on it, but it's a documentary on kind of a legendary Irish musician, Donald Looney, if I'm saying his name right. So anyway, should be a good lineup at Benson Theater this weekend. Appreciate if people would consider joining us. And then I just wanted to note on the parade, for the Hibernians, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, normally it's gone through the old market, but due to this, basically indefinitely going forward, it's going to be the same route, similar to like the Labor Day Parade down Capitol and the Pride Parade down Capitol Avenue. So for those who are attending the parade this year, just keep in mind it's actually not going through the old market this year. It's going to be going down Capitol Avenue from about 16th Street to 10th Street, and it's nerve-wracking in terms of you just never know the weather. I mean, I've been at the parade where it was single digits, and then I've been at the parade where it felt like it was summertime. So, but either way, no matter the weather, we hope you all join us and appreciate the resolution. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Anybody else? Mr. Kavanaugh?
I'd just like to add my sentiments about the Irish community in Douglas County and the contributions they've made. We celebrate that throughout the month of March, and it's a great opportunity for us to recognize one of the founding ethnic groups of Omaha. If you go back to the early records of Omaha, right from the start, the Irish were here and helping build our city. This year, we have an extraordinary number of celebrations, and I particularly want to point out that the Lady Ancient Order of Hibernians, who hold one of the kickoff celebrations on Sunday, were founded in Omaha, Nebraska in the early 1900s, And that national organization, Ancient Order of Hibernians, is holding their national convention here in Omaha in July. I think it's like July 14th, which should be another big celebration of Irish American heritage. We should all be proud of where we came from, and this is an opportunity for us who have Irish roots to celebrate that. Our diversity makes us a great country, and the Irish have helped contribute to that as well. So I want to thank everybody for their support, and please come out and celebrate Irish Heritage Month at one of these great opportunities to be and experience Irish heritage and culture. Thanks, everybody. Happy
right.
St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you so much. With that, I think we can vote.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. We will move forward to Section 7, public hearings. We have one item, item A, which is a public hearing for Class C license for Indian Creek Golf Course LLC, DBA Indian Creek Golf Course at the address listed on the final agenda here. Manager application for Jim Nedrow, or Nedrow, perhaps. And I will open up the public hearing for this item, and I will start by thanking you for your patience and listening to us debate robustly.
No problem. Sydney Gotch with Indian Creek Golf Course, just here as the representative for them, so first time, so.
Got it. Very good. Any questions or comments? Commissioner Friend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sydney, thanks for your patience. We actually can, you're lucky you're getting here up to the mic as early as you are. Anyway, thanks for your patience and thanks for coming down. Can you give me a quick background? It's my understanding that if you look at some of the information that was provided to us, and there are kind of 5, if you will, bullet points or items that need to be addressed before the application is approved. One of them is the 500. You probably knew this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the 500-foot limit. I would imagine at Indian Creek around the clubhouse, that's not an issue. So there around the clubhouse, that's not a problem. I mean, practically, there's nothing 500 feet from that clubhouse. The rest of the golf course, different story, right? I would imagine that, I can't speak for the rest of the board, but I'm a little concerned that the notification hasn't been provided to people that live around the golf course. Can you opine on how much this is going to directly affect some of the residents around this golf course? Because I don't think that notification has been provided, right?
Correct.
Do you think it's an issue?
Personally, no, because we currently have a Class IB, which is the on sale of beer, liquor, and wine with the off sale of beer. We are just switching to a Class C, which was recommended from the Liquor Commission to be able to off sale liquor and wine for certain events that would be held at the clubhouse. So the course that backs up to like any houses or anything, that wouldn't be technically affected because it'd be at the clubhouse. And I Google Earthed it and did all the measurements, and I believe the closest thing is over 1,000 feet away.
Well, okay, that's good news. What I'm a little bit concerned about is not necessarily that a bunch of neighbors are going to go, well, guess what? A Class 3 license has been now implemented, and they're going to complain about it. What I would theoretically be worried about is that what we would do for you could create a situation where others would come in and go, well, we don't have to go get that. Sydney didn't. We have made exceptions before, but I guess I'm just wondering what type of trap we would run into in that regard. And I wanted you to know that if we were to, if this was delayed, it gets delayed. But to get that information from neighbors. But if we did it, could we still go back and get information from neighbors after we approve this? I mean, is there any motivation for Sydney and Indian Creek to do it, Teresa?
Teresa, your County Attorney's Office. The resolution that you follow with regards to that talks about neighbors being within 500 feet. I think you could ask Sydney to do additional if you so wanted to. It would be up to her to then follow through with that.
Okay. I don't like to let bureaucracy get in the way, but we do have rules. I don't know. I'd like to hear from other commissioners. It happens to be in my district, but I think that's irrelevant. I mean, this could happen anywhere. So I like the idea of moving this forward and then trying to see if you could, at least let folks know that you changed the whole thing. But anyway, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Quick question for legal or admin. It doesn't say action can be taken today, so were we planning to leave this open till next meeting, or what were we planning here?
Teresa, if I may. So, Mr. Chair, the Dan Esch, Douglas County Clerk, the NLCC would need local review of this by March 19th. So if we were to leave it open, it'd basically have to be next week because we don't meet the 17th. And so I'd work with Sydney today to get her a template of things she could send to the neighbors. But Sydney, were you saying there's nobody within 1,000 feet of the golf course?
Of the clubhouse.
Of the clubhouse, okay.
Yes.
But this would be, Commissioner Friend, if what you're saying is basically we would, whatever property abuts the golf course would be basically receiving a notification is if we were to lay it over. Is how I assume it would work, because they'd have to be within 500 feet because they're neighboring the golf course. Maybe the house doesn't, but the property would be. So.
Along those lines, so I understand what you're saying with, between the clubhouse and neighbors, there's nobody within 1,000 feet. What about the golf course in general and neighbors?
Yes, the actual 9 holes and I guess 27 holes. Yes, there would be a property line that could be potentially shared with certain neighbors.
Okay, within 500 feet, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay. And on the statutory side, legal side, does the license request require notification to neighbors within 500 feet of the facility that's asking for it or of the property that's asking for it, if that makes sense?
Teresa, your County Attorney's Office. So the requirement for the notification is from a resolution that this board passed, and I would say it's not that specific. What it says is that it's 500 feet of the establishment that is the subject of the application. And so I hear Sydney saying that it's the clubhouse that's going to have the alcohol under the license, but the property is larger than that. So I can't answer that directly for you. I can answer a couple other things that previously came up, if I may, and that is, in the packet that I have, it is set for action today. It's hold the public hearing and approve the resolution. So that came up earlier. So it could be acted upon today if you so choose. Then based on what Dan said, the information that needs to go to the state doesn't need to go until the 19th. So you also could lay it over till the 10th if you wished and get additional information from Sydney.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I add in one more thing?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Dan Esch, Douglas County Clerk. But Sydney, the behavior, if you will, on the golf course won't change. Basically, this only affects the off sale at the clubhouse. What's happening on the golf course right now, this really doesn't impact it. It's basically business as usual on the golf course, correct?
Correct. And the business will kind of just keep running for right now. We still have our current liquor license, and we'll keep the current license. It's just the opportunity for us to do wine events that we have the opportunity to bring in exclusive wines. And so there might be a wine event that someone might want to buy a case of that wine that they could only buy from us.
Is that okay? It sounds like. Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Friend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Sydney, I'm gonna ask this, and we know you're busy. I mean, everybody's busy. Is it a difficult proposition, and I'm asking you and Dan, is it a difficult proposition to get that notification? All we have to do is get the notification out, right? So by next week, hate to ask you this, but could you come down again? I mean, can we get the notification out, and can you come down again? Can she come on Zoom? Yeah. She can, we can entertain this on Zoom?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Would you have a whole lot of heartburn if we just want to do things, appropriately without creating a ton of bureaucracy, right? So can we get that notification out, and then maybe next week, we love seeing you, you can come down again, but maybe that should be the way we approach this so we don't create a weird environment, right? Is that all right?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. When I had gotten an email about it, I spoke with Dan and said if we needed to postpone it, I'd be willing to come down today. I'd be willing to come down just whenever would work. My only question would be, it says that notification would need to be sent within or before 10 days of the hearing. So if the hearing would be on, what would next week be, the 10th, correct? Would that be enough time? But if you don't meet on the 17th, then I'm just trying to figure out timeline-wise what would be the best.
Dan Esch, County Clerk. I mean, we're kind of in a position where we have to do the 10th. You bring up a great point, but basically we would have laid it over to the 17th, but we don't meet the 17th, so the only option is to meet the 10th. And I guess what my office will try to do for you today is just send you the template and you're free to use, come up with your own notification, but we'll send you a template, and then we'll go to our assessor's website or our GIS website and basically just print you off or send you a sheet of all the mailing addresses that would basically neighbor, literally on the neighbor of the golf course. So, and then if you could just get them out today or tomorrow morning, and I realize that may mean some neighbors don't get notification until Friday or Saturday, but at this point, it's the best we can do. So,
Mr. Friend.
Final questions, and it might be for Clerk Ash. Does it have to be delivered a paper to their door, or is it an email? We don't have all the emails.
Well, I think it's silent on how it gets there, but my guess is I doubt, unless the neighbor has emailed the golf course directly, I doubt they have the email addresses of these folks, so we just have to send it by mail, which I know that's a cost to the applicant, but that is the notification policy. So.
Okay. Final. I think it's the only. I think it's the best path forward. That's my opinion. I'll hear what the rest of the board has to say, but we delay it for a week and try to get that notification out as quick as possible.
Okay. Go ahead.
If she comes back next week, can we try to get it early on the agenda, being she sent through?
Yeah, if you come in person, I'll bump you up on the agenda. But you can do Zoom too, and it's totally fine. Commissioner Fahey, Kavanaugh, are those red lights from previous times?
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, nothing? Okay, good. Very good. If we table it to next week, should I close the public hearing and just let it sit there till next week, or what do you recommend, Teresa?
I'd recommend you leave Teresa, your county attorney's office. I'd recommend you leave the public hearing open, and that way, if someone does appear next week, they could speak at the public hearing, and then close it when it's all done next week.
Got it. Okay. We'll leave the public hearing open, but we'll go ahead and wrap up discussion for today. So thank you for being here, and you'll hear from Mr. Clerk here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll proceed on our agenda here to committees. Under Finance, we had our budget report as presented. Under Human Resources, we had our weekly personnel report from Civil Service, also as presented. We do have a need for executive session today for the purposes of contract negotiation, litigation, and legal advice. Did I miss one? Oh, my bad. We did have a quick item D under community services. That's my fault. So we'll circle back to executive session shortly. But first, we'll address item D1, which is a discussion on future uses for the closed State Street landfill. We have Director Holm.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Kent Holm, Environmental Services Director. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, and mainly it's just to provide some context for some things that will be coming to you potentially in the future. So with that, wanted to just, for context's sake, the State Street landfill was a facility that Douglas County owns, and it was operated as a municipal solid waste landfill from approximately 1977 through 1989. And it is located at essentially the northeast corner of 132nd and State Street. It's 160 acres. On this particular map, you can see a bunch of, that's not the measles, those are groundwater monitoring wells that are required by our permit. Which are actually, some of them are on-site, but most of them are off-site. So I just point that out because there are some things here that potentially may impact properties that are adjacent. So you may remember a couple of years ago, in August of 2022, OPPD approached the county and was looking for us to partner with them on a Nebraska Environmental Trust grant application. They were awarded that grant. They went through a feasibility study, but they came to the conclusion in essentially about 18 months ago that they did not want to move forward for their reasons, financial and some of the liability that was potentially going to be impacted. So just from a context standpoint, where we are today, we do have a third-party bioresources development that is hooked into our landfill gas collection system. They are cleaning up that gas, and they are putting that gas into, basically selling that gas to the MUD, putting it into the pipeline for beneficial use. The contract for that would end in 2030. There are 2 potential 5-year extensions, and then moving on, this shows you approximately where on the property they are located. But one of the things that is potentially will impact that decision is the fact that we do need to renew our solid waste permit that's issued by the Department of Water, Energy, and Environment. We are going to be beginning negotiations on that with the state agency. And one of the key elements to that is that our landfill gas collection system is really an aging infrastructure. It is 30 plus years old now. It is a system of wells. The picture on the left there shows what one of the wells looks like. The middle picture there is a topo view showing kind of the layout of the system. There are roughly 40-some wells on that system connected by pipes that all go over to the picture on the right, which is the collections facility. Has some blowers there which pull the vacuum to pull the gas over to that location. The stack that you see there is the flare that we used to use on a regular basis before we had the BRD contract. So now all of the gas is going to BRD to be used for beneficial uses. There's a decision point coming up in the future here about whether we would potentially extend the BRD contract. One of the things we have to be cognizant of are the terms of the new solid waste permit that will be in place at that time and what condition that aging infrastructure is going to be in. So there's some things there. And again, I'm putting this out for context. No decisions need to be made today, but I want this to be out there on the radar that we're going to have there's several balls in the air right now. We're going to have some decisions to make, and we're going to be collecting the best data we have to provide that the best recommendations for you to make those data-based decisions. So one of the other things I wanted to kind of close with is the fact that the State Street landfill is really kind of, from an energy standpoint, on State Street, which is, if you can see where my pointer is, Over here, this is the big Google development, a very much an energy consumption development. We're all, and the State Street landfill is about halfway between that and the OPP substation, which is just down the road to the west on State Street. So, from an energy standpoint, State Street landfill obviously was looked at a couple years ago by OPPD, and I think there's still some potential opportunities there for that. So, one of the things, let me finish with this. We have also been looking at this as a potential storm debris staging site, just kind of the flat area on the southeast corner of the property, and that's a very temporary type thing, but it's also public property. It's secured area where we could have public agencies dropping off material there and handling that in the event of a storm debris situation. So with that, part of the discussion here is just context to let you know what's going on out there. One of the things that I'm going to be doing as part of my due diligence is to discuss with our purchasing folks in county attorney's office what kind of a process we would need to have in place going forward in terms of, do we need to bid things out? If we identify a particular type of use and type of use that we'd like to see on the landfill, what does that process look like from a public bidding, purchasing standpoint, et cetera? So I'll be doing some due diligence on that, kind of looking at what options might be available, and then I'll be back to visit with you some more. So happy to entertain any questions you may have, but again, today was mainly just putting it on your radar that there's some decision points coming up in the future.
Thank you, Kent. Real quick question on the last slide with the little triangle for debris staging.
Yes.
Would setting up that corner for debris staging require a scaling back of the current operations that are there with the filtering of gas, or?
No.
Okay, just curious.
No impact there. This is very much a surface type of thing, temporary dumping of let's say green tree debris.
Sure.
And then grinding it up, moving it off site very quickly.
Got it. Okay, very good. Commissioner Friend?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kent, thanks for the information, and sounds like we've talked about this in general, but it sounds like arguably that the BRD production process, there were some Deer Creek neighbors and some other stuff, and I don't mean to spring this on you, but there were some noise issues.
Yes.
They created some buffer stuff around that. I haven't heard anything back from neighbors since then. So whatever they did might have helped. I mean, is that a fair assessment?
I guess, yeah. If you haven't heard anything, then there hasn't. Yeah, we are not aware of any other complaints per se. But I also think that they may be looking to you. I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but we have not had any particular direct complaints.
Okay,
since
and along those same lines, will the process that you're going through, obviously it'll factor in the growth around that area, right? So, I mean,
correct.
Anything that's going to go in there probably shouldn't or won't create some sort of weird, unforeseen noise issues, I would think.
Right.
That's part of the investigatory process, I would think.
That will certainly be a consideration. Yes. With anything, the other part is it would need to meet any particular zoning requirements from the city of Omaha. If there's special use permits, conditional use permits, those types of things. But we'll vet all of those types of things in advance.
Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We'll go to Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Thanks for this. Could you give us a hard copy of what you just did on the PowerPoint?
I will provide that to Mr. Esch and Kim. Kim already has it.
The thing that we've been taking out is methane. Is that right?
Yeah, the main component of landfill gas is methane, and it gets cleaned up. Basically, it's changed into a renewable gas.
So OPPD has been piping that and using it for some purpose?
MUD has.
And in the landfill itself, is there still methane being
Yes.
produced?
Yes.
Okay. Where does that go when we discontinue this?
That is being collected by the system, and then right now BRD is tapping into that system to gather that methane. They clean it up in their process, and then it's delivered directly into the MUD main.
So the capture of the methane will continue?
It will continue at this point, yes. 2030 is the contract end for them unless it's extended by mutual agreement with this county board. But at that, I mean, we're 4 years away from that, or 3+ years away from that right now. And again, as I indicated in the presentation, there are some situations with our permit and the aging of the infrastructure there, the collection system infrastructure that we have to take into account. And so right now, yes, they're continuing. The methane capture is continuing. That may change here in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, one of the great things that we've been doing for our environment is capturing this deadly greenhouse gas and utilizing it, not letting it go into the atmosphere. So if we get to the point where we're going to make a decision that could potentially release this greenhouse gas into the atmosphere, that would be something we'd want to consider alternatives to.
There are federal greenhouse gas reporting requirements that we have to adhere to as well. So those, and right now we're adhering to those. That situation might change too. So yes.
Now, OPPD was going to place a solar array on this property, correct?
Correct. They were looking at the feasibility of doing that. The feasibility study said could be done, and there were.
And do we know the amount of solar that they were planning on?
I don't know that right off the top of my head. And again, it was going to be contingent upon them being able to work out some of the settlement issues, and settlement by means settlement of the landfill, and at least the area that they would have available.
But were they considering solar arrays on the coterminous with the property?
Explain what you mean by coterminous.
Well, how many acres of property are there?
160.
And if they were going to put that amount of acres in solar array, that would be coterminous.
Okay. They were not going to use the entire site, if that answers your question.
Do you know the estimate of what they were going to do?
I want to say that they were, boy, I'd rather go back and look and see exactly what.
That'd be good.
I don't recall right offhand.
My questions are leading up to, and this is an OPPD question, is did they just relocate this proposed solar array? I mean, because they're having problems with coal and frack gas and stuff that are bad for the environment right now. And so solar is one of the ways that they can get away from producing those pollutants.
I'm not aware of whether they relocated
I will follow
per se.
up with them. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Other questions or comments on the presentation? If not, we'll go ahead and conclude. Thank you for coming out, Dr. Holm.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Let me circle back to our need for executive session, which again was for contract negotiation, litigation, and legal advice. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Rogers, second by Morgan. Let's vote.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. The board will now go into executive session for the purposes of contract negotiation, litigation, and legal advice. Thank you.
Motion to reconvene and adjourn passes 6-0 at 11:07 a.m.